Alright, I'm back at the woods and I just got done cutting down the PTO. Hopefully I got it at the right length here. So there's a couple things to note. I guess if you have to cut a PTO down on any type of implement is one, there's like a tractor side. So I got an arrow here, and on that cover there's actually, I think it either says tractor or there's, oh no, right here has a picture of a tractor and it's pointing that way. So you want to make sure you have your orientation of your PTO the correct way. And then the amount of slip there's going to be here. So now this is down all the way, and like I said on the video I watched from Hudson, the guy was saying that down is going to be the closest it's going to be, and it's not. When I lift it up, it actually slides in a little bit. So we should be good here. I don't know the exact amount that I cut off. I think it was 4 3/4 on each end. I don't know, I'd have to look back and see. I'd have to look at the piece. But then what you do is you cut the plastic. When you measure it, you're going to cut the plastic back further. So you double up your two shafts when they're split, and you come back 2 inches this way. You put this mark here on the shaft that would be on the bottom, and do the same thing on this side to the shaft on top. And that's where your plastic's going to be, but you're going to want to cut the shaft, you know, 1/4 inch less than that, so that you have enough slip so you can slide them together without fighting the cover here. The other thing I'm not so sure on is the angle of the drive shaft when you lift it. I don't know how much I can go. I know the book said something, I believe it was like 45 degrees. So I mean, I switched the position of the pins here too, so now I'm up on the top set of holes instead of the bottom, so it's not lifting like way up high. It still gets it plenty high off the ground, but I thought maybe that would make a difference for this. So right now the way it looks, it's kind of got a down slope to it. So I mean, we could switch them too and see how much of a difference that makes if it's on the bottom. I don't think it's going to make too much. It's just that when you lift it up, you get a lot more height, and I don't want to, you know, snap something off. I wouldn't recommend running the thing in the raised position anyway, because you already got a pretty good, like I said, angle here when this thing is on. So I'll set up the tripod and we'll take a look at how this goes up and down. Alright, so this is the other side there, and I lifted up the PTO cover there just to kind of look, and I'm not sure. I don't set these things up every day. This is the first time I've had to cut a PTO down for an implement, and I'm sure if you do it every day it's no big deal because you've done it a million times, but I'm not so sure that. It looks like we got plenty of gap here. We shouldn't have any issue with running the PTO shaft into itself. I'm just worried that I got too much angle going on here because I don't have it up all the way yet off the ground. I mean, it's, I don't know, probably about 8 inches or so off the ground. So it looks like I'm about 8.5, 9 inches or so off the ground here. And like I said, when I had it on the top set of the holes, this thing would come up way, way higher. I guess what I could do is maybe disconnect the tractor side PTO, lift it up, and then see if I can get the PTO to connect. And if I can, then we should hopefully be okay. I just don't want to raise it with it connected and end up snapping the yoke or whatever. Alright, so I'm in the fully raised position here. I couldn't get the PTO back on with it raised. It just won't work. So it's kind of a no guts, no glory type of thing. No brains, no headaches. So just lifted it up. Nothing seemed to pop. I kind of went slow with it. And we got good ground clearance. That's about, I think, 14 inches off the ground in the back. And like I said, that's on the top set of holes. You set it at the bottom, you're going to get even more. I don't know that that PTO is going to go that far. So I think what the book was talking about is that you don't run the PTO at more than a 45-degree angle. So obviously you wouldn't want to run it like this because would not last very long. And I think it says something in the too. It's really hard to read the book because it's in like 10 different languages, and it does it paragraph at a time, so you got to flip a bunch of pages to stay reading the same language. But anyway, with the PTO or whatever, you can run it at, I think it's up to 45, but it's only for 5 minutes is what it says. I don't know, it gives you like a time frame if you're running it at an extreme angle. So obviously if we're pulling, we're going to want it down. So, and I went through and greased everything, pulled off the cable ties that had the stuff down. So I think the next thing we do is try pulling some cable off here and just seeing how this thing operates. Alright, so preliminary test here. I just operated it a little bit here with just a little light load on it, and it seems to dig in pretty well. So we'll take a look at how I got this hooked up. It's very much amateur hour here. I don't have the right equipment. So what we got is this log over here. It's quite long, and it was kind of just laying back in here. So I used one of my 5/16 chains, and I had to take the hook off because you actually slide it in here, and it's got a catch on the end. And this is straight now too. So the other thing you're supposed to do is take out, I forget how many feet of cables on this thing, if it's 165 or 200. You're supposed to take it out until there's like a marking on the cable, and then you're supposed to put a, I don't know if it's a 1,000-pound load or something like that to kind of train the cable. So I got this on here. We're going to try pulling it a little bit and just see how it goes here. Obviously we got it going over top of these logs here. I wanted to pull this big heavy oak, but I can't get underneath the log without some sort of lever or bringing the loader over. So we'll set it up here and we'll run it a little bit just to see how this thing operates. Alright, so hopefully the camera still works. This thing took quite a bit of a nosedive when I had the cable set up here. And as you can tell, we're learning the machine here. We had the front wheels of the tractor off the ground twice, so I was pulling a log out and it got hooked, and I figured it should just pull through. Well, not so much. It just digs in and it absolutely just keeps pulling like something terrible. So you really got to have your heads up with this. So I just got done cutting the log down, so it's not a very big chunk. It's probably only like 8 foot or so, and it's pretty small. So we'll set up the camera here and we should be able to wheel that thing in like nothing. Alright, so I spent a couple hours here messing with this. The problem I had is I put some pretty good tension on it, and then when I pulled the brake, it just like freewheeled itself off, and I thought it wasn't supposed to do that. So I'm gonna have to find out where the setting is for the brake release. Like the actual drag when you're pulling it out seems fine, but when you got tension on it and you release it, the thing just, I could hear it just freewheeling in there. Well, then the cable gets all wonky in there. It doesn't like the reel in very nice, so we had to pull a bunch of cable out, and then well, we pulled that log in to kind of straighten it out. So we'll have to do some more experimenting with this, but I guess the takeaway is we got the PTO cut. That seems to work for the right length. And it seems like this thing has plenty of pulling power. I might actually ballast the front of the tractor with a log when I pull. It was kind of scary seeing this thing come up as fast as it did. Like it'd start to dig in after it it got down a ways, the front of the tractor started to come off the ground like it weighed nothing. So yeah, it seems like it should be a pretty good tool. Got a lot of learning to do with it yet. So alright, that'll be it for now.